And I think just showing people about Jesus, maybe even sharing a Bible verse, like get people curious about telling people about Jesus can like plant a seed and spark someone's curiosity about who Jesus is, what his ministry was, and maybe even like get them involved in studying the Bible. So I think telling people about Jesus, going to make disciples literally everywhere is probably some of the best advice that I've been given.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the ROYL Podcast. We are so excited to be joined in the virtual studio this week by Grace Walston. How you doing, Grace?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you in the virtual studio this week and to just talk about your content and just parks, coasters, and all that good stuff. So with that being said, let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself to our listeners and share a testimony as well.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Grace from Grace Adventures. I recently started making roller coaster content like back in September, and honestly, it's been so fun. But besides that, I work in ministry. I've worked in ministry for over 3.5 years, and I work in marketing and communications. And I love it so much, and it's so amazing and so breathtaking, and it's so rewarding just to do it. I got my communications degree from Liberty University. I've interned with the City of Tampa Parks and Rec, and I also do freelancing on the side too. And other than roller coasters and park content, yeah, that's pretty much my life right now. Just ministry and roller coasters.
Awesome, man. It's a good mix too, and that's what we're all about here at ROYL.
Yeah.
Let me start by asking you this. How did you become a enthusiast? How did you really get into coasters and parks? So
that dates back to like when I was like around 11 or 10, and I know we all have those types of backstories. It was like a birthday surprise. My parents surprised me by going to Busch Gardens for my birthday, and I didn't realize I was like tall enough to like finally ride Scorpion. And whenever I did ride Scorpion, I rode it with my dad in the front row, and it was like absolutely insane. And I loved it so much that we just marathoned Scorpion, and I guess technically that was like my first marathon coaster I marathoned. And I kind of like grew out of it. I mean, I have like a love for Cedar Point as well. Whenever I went up to Cedar Point when I was in 6th grade, so I was like 12 or 13, I literally made a whole booklet of all of the coasters, and I wish I didn't throw it away because I thought it was cringe, but I like grew into like wanting to learn more about roller coasters. And unfortunately, I grew out of it because of like sports and school and everything, but I finally have the time to get back into it. So I started back around August, September of last year by creating my accounts, and just like with every post, I try to learn more about different roller coasters as they like come out or as they become defunct. So I know we're all on our different coaster journeys and learning more about like what our favorite manufacturers are and favorite coasters and everything.
Awesome. And I gotta ask, what is your favorite coaster?
Montu. And I know that's a weird one because everyone who lives like around Busch Gardens or like lives in Florida says Iron Gwazi or Velocicoaster, which is, it's like really valid. But Montu for me is more than just like a roller coaster that you can like marathon. I mean, I love marathoning Montu. It's actually really fun. Mm-hmm. But I like live for intensity. And I don't get intensity or that much intensity out of Iron Gwazi, but I get that out of Montu. So it's just like really fun, like trying out different rows and like different trains for Montu, and like studying the types of inversions and like all that stuff. And yeah, and everyone around me, they just like swarm to Montu. I know it's like all the enthusiasts go to Iron Gwazi, but like my family and my friends, they all love Montu as well. So it's more than just like a roller coaster. It's just like a place where it's like bonds are made with like people that are close to me.
Cool. And Busch Gardens Tampa is one of those parks I've never been to, but I want to go to.
Really?
I know. Whenever I'm in Florida, I'm usually in the Orlando area, so I need to venture down to Tampa and check out the park. But
yeah,
I've heard good things about Montu. I've heard good things about Iron Gwazi, all those coasters down there. I just need to get down there.
Yeah.
And so, what's your favorite element of a coaster? What makes the perfect coaster for you?
You know, I really love the Millennium of Montu. I think that's like my most favorite part of any roller coaster. And I also love like the loops because, well, I sometimes in my free time I like do tumbling, and I just like that's one of the reasons why I like live for the intensity, and just like looping just like kind of reminds me of just like doing backflips. So it's like a safer way to do backflips, but it's like also really fun. But also I love like the speed of it as well. And also the drop, like the drop like makes like a huge difference if it's a really good roller coaster or not. The first drop of Montu is really good. Same with Shikra with like just like the steady pause on the top. And then same with Iron Gwazi where it's just like there is no pause and it's just like you just go.
Nice. And yeah, I love a good intense coaster, so
yeah,
it sounds pretty awesome. And I've never really thought about that of a loop being a safer way of doing a flip. So I'll remember that now that I'm riding some of these coasters.
Yeah,
so that's awesome. And are there any coasters on your coaster? First off, what is your coaster count?
Mine is 56, but my goal this year is to try to get it to 75. But I think with the opening of Epic Universe, I will for sure get it. And I'm looking to get 4 coaster credits this week at the Fun Spot. So I think I like underestimated this year with how many credits I could actually get.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And now that you mentioned Epic Universe, I gotta ask, which land are you looking forward to the most, and which attraction are you looking forward to the most?
I'm really looking forward to Dark Universe the most.
Yeah.
I kind of think, I'm not gonna lie, and people are gonna get really mad at me, but I feel like the Super Mario World is probably gonna be like one of like my least favorites.
I'm in the same boat.
Huh?
I'm in the same boat as you.
Okay, like, thank goodness. I feel like that would have been like an unpopular opinion. But I'm really excited for the wolf, like, I forget the name of it, but it's like the Big Bad Wolf attraction. That was Busch Gardens, but the Curse of the Werewolf, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a mock spinning ride, and I'm excited for like the animatronics in the Frankenstein ride too. And I feel like the ride is going to be so well themed because it's literally Universal monsters. And I feel like they're going to put so much good effort into that. And Harry Potter is going to be really good too. Ministry of Magic. And I feel like the Starlight Racers it's going to be like a comeback from Dueling Dragons. Like it's going to be such a good racing roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Epic, and seeing the Epic Preview Center for the first time just last week makes me want to come back as soon as the gates open.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. Dark Universe is my most anticipated land as well. It's the land that they're really keeping under wraps. Nobody knows anything about what's going to be in there other than like the 2 attractions and a few shops, but we really don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
And Harry Potter, there's going to be Harry Potter and a couple Nifflers and all that good stuff. Mario, I think the reason why people aren't as excited for Mario, other than the fact it's finally coming to the East Coast. It's just we know what to expect already. We've seen it in Japan and we've seen it in Hollywood, so it's like there's no surprise in it. But How to Train Your Dragons is another one that I don't know what to think about that yet. But I'm with you, Dark Universe. I think that's going to be probably the best theme park land out there until Disney or someone else knocks them out of the park, which I think will be hard to do.
Yeah. And Disney has some tough competition coming up. They're not doing many things this year to revamp their parks. I mean, I know they're doing some stuff with Animal Kingdom, like they're shutting down It's Tough to Be a Bug for Zootopia, and then it's like the dinosaur ride. But yeah, Disney's got to like keep up with Universal, because Universal just like, it keeps like making stuff happen and like in like a positive way, and people love it, and people are just getting mad at Disney. So it's exciting to like support Universal and know that they're like doing so good in the theme park wars.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy how it's just the flipped effect in Florida. It's like usually Disney's the big, we got this new attraction coming, but some of their new attractions are dirt's moving.
Yeah.
actually, we're going to scrap that. No, we're canceling that too. But Universal, I'm so excited for the future of it. Just Orlando. Now you have Las Vegas, Texas, California, and almost, I think the UK is next.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So that's going to be interesting to see what they get out there. But of your coasters that you've ridden, are there any defunct ones that you just wish were still around?
Definitely Scorpion. And that's kind of like, it's like the reason I got into coasters, and it's the reason why I got back into coasters again in September, which is kind of funny because the very last time that I rode Scorpion, I marathon Scorpion 22 times that day. And it sucks that Scorpion is defunct, but they haven't torn it down. So there's rumors that it's going to go to another park in Indiana.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard that rumor, but there's hope for Scorpion still, that it's still going to be around. I know Mantis is another defunct roller coaster that I've ridden from Cedar Point. And I thought it was pretty cool that it was a stand-up roller coaster. And I know many people didn't like it, but it would be cool to just like go back and ride it again. Yeah,
I'm an Ohio native here, so Cedar Point's a couple hours away from me. From what I've heard, I'm kind of glad it's gone, because I've ridden Vortex over in Carowinds, and that was a one and done for me. I'm glad I got the credit, but it hurts.
It's more or less just to experience it again, but I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting ride.
Yeah.
So, have you ridden the surf coaster at SeaWorld?
Yeah, no, I actually just rode that this month for the first time, and it's not like as bad as you think, because there's actually like room for you to jump whenever there's airtime. So it just like it moves up and down with you. So it's not that bad, but I think it's a little underhyped. It's not as bad as you think.
I think the problem with the old model is like you're stuck. Once you're in the position, you're stuck there for the rest of the ride. But that's cool that they have that bouncing sensation to where you're more free than you are contained to a spot. Which speaking of that, and that being a newer coaster, of all the coasters coming out this year, other than Epic Universe, which has some amazing coasters, which coaster are you looking forward to, and which coaster do you think will be the best of the best this year?
I think either Siren's Curse at Cedar Point or Alpine Fury at Canada's Wonderland. I'm not like a super big Premiere person myself, but Alpine Fury looks so good actually, for being one of their Skyrocket models. And I'm not a big Skyrocket model person either, but like with all the parts coming in and like all the pictures of it and like the video footage, it looks so good, especially with the added elements. I think there's going to be like fire somewhere in there too, or like I think it's called pyrotechnics, but I think there's gonna be fire somewhere in there. But it looks really good. And then Siren's Curse at Cedar Point, like it just looks amazing, and it just like looks it looks really intense, and it just looks really fun. And I think it'll be like another really unique roller coaster that could be added to the Cedar Point coaster lineup.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to try it. It looks terrifying, especially with that drop, but it's like, hey, let's give it a shot. I have Jesus in my heart. I know where I'm going if this thing goes wrong.
Yeah, so. No, exactly.
But I'm excited for that and for Top Thrill 2. Were you one of the lucky few that got to ride it last year?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, I know like a couple people that were able to ride it before it's shut down after it's like 1 month, 2 weeks of operation. But I hope that when I go there, it's open. I'm really excited to ride that one. Yeah,
and man, with the closure of King to Ka, hopefully this will be a good staple, because I don't know about you, but I don't know how this Falcon's flight's going to go down. I don't know how that's going to hold up, just being in the environment that it's in and just the height that it is. We'll see, but I think and hope that our new world's tallest coaster will be good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will last a season. But
no, Falcon's flight looks absolutely insane and scary. It does. I don't know who's gonna fly out to Saudi Arabia to ride it. Like especially if you don't have the money to just like go out there, and if you're in the States, that's gonna be like a really crazy tourist attraction for Saudi Arabia.
For sure, and it seems like they're starting to pick up their tourist game out there with the addition of this Six Flags and a few other attractions. And so best of luck to them. But to some of us here in the States that go over there, it's like you're taking a 50-50 chance here. You don't know if this thing's going to be open or not.
Yeah, so, that's the scary part of like any time going to a park, especially when you're like not native to the park and the coaster isn't open, so you can't get that credit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the risk you'll take if you go to a park that, like you said, is not your park. So, yeah, best of luck to you all out there. But that's so cool. And now moving on to some of your content. You mentioned you just got started with your channel and everything, and it's really good. And I first found out about you through Ryan, our good friend Ryan Subler.
Yes.
And through that, I found your channel, and honestly, your channel has helped with the planning of something we both were at this past week, and that was Rock the Universe at Universal. And you did a phenomenal video on that, just the history of it and what to expect. And when you gave that tip about Brandon Lake, boy, you were right.
Okay, thank you. I'm not the only person that experienced that this year. Again.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on Rock the Universe this year?
So Rock the Universe this year, I was a little, I guess underestimating the artist this year because I wasn't as excited for the lineup. But of course I still went because I loved going, and there were a couple people that I did like watching. I saw Rent Collective and Matthew West on Friday night, and then Consumed by Fire and Koki on Saturday night, which is like one of like the Coca-Cola fan zone artists, which I usually don't watch, and that was like my very first year watching them. But yeah, Friday night was like another busy night because Brandon Lake was there. Yes. And I think that was the craziest part. And I don't know if you were trying to like watch Brandon Lake. We were trying to watch him for a couple songs, and then we were just like trying to leave to go on Rip Ride Rocket. And as we were trying to go through the crowd, there were just like so many people just pushing and shoving us as we were like trying to move. And it was like absolutely insane. Like, not to rip on any of the like Brandon Lake fans there, but it's just, we were just like trying to make our way through in the nicest way possible. I don't know if you experienced that there.
I got a story about that. So I was in the midst of that crowd that was being is literally a mosh pit. That's the best way to put it. It was a mosh pit. So if you've never been to Rock Universe, literally the park is one big barricade maze. And there's some that are supposed to be like walkthroughs. But Kinsey and I were stuck in the middle of what's supposed to be a walkway and in this big mosh pit where someone behind us yelled, "Ooh, I just stepped in barf." So I guess someone was claustrophobic and some girl stepped into the aftermath of that. And it was crazy. So thankfully, Kinsey and I, after I think it's close to 15 minutes of trying to get through this crowd, we get off to buy Jimmy Fallon. We see the screen. It's like, I can watch this on YouTube, but we're going back to the hotel. It's like, it wasn't even worth that then.
Yeah.
Like you said, there were some really good artists this year, and some of those minor acts, or what we consider minor acts, were really good. And I wish we could have seen Consumed by Fire in person. I love their music. But it was a fun time regardless, and it was good to be around fellow believers and just have an event like this still around, because I'm pretty sure Kings Island's events no more. As you said in your video, Disney doesn't do Night of Joy anymore. So Universal's really the premier Christian theme park event, which I'd love to see come. Well, Dollywood too, but man, it is a fun time. It's definitely worth the price. You get 3 days for the price of one, basically. So that in of itself that's a win. So, so compared to this year and previous years, which has been your best year, your favorite year so far?
Well, when I first started going to Rock Universe, I literally saw NF and Family Force 5, and those are like pretty much like my top favorite artists. But I think it was just a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago we saw Skillet and Taryn Wells.
Nice.
And both those guys were really like awesome, full of energy, and that's what we love to see. And Skillet brings the crowd too, but Skillet was like so much fun to see, especially at the Universal parks, as like Rip Ride is just like on top of them, and it was amazing.
Yep, Rip Ride Rocket. Sadly, so that's another thing that you mentioned too at the event. It's the event artwork's not going to be the same after this year, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of artistic style they choose after this year, because it's always a picture of the Music Plaza stage. So it'll be interesting to see how it looks come next year.
Yeah, and it's funny because their promo for next year's event, which I think is on January 23rd and 24th, they had a Rip Ride Rocket still in their promotional art when it's not going to be there next year. So I'm
curious if it's just Go ahead.
Oh, I thought it was just like, it was funny that it was still there even though it's going away.
Yeah, I'm curious if it was just a template, because I'm sure they don't have an idea of what it is, or I wonder if it's still going to be there next year come the event. So we'll see. And what do you think will be in that spot once Rip Ride Rocket's no more? What do you think's coming?
I know there's permits of an Intamin coaster being there. I think it's most likely going to be like an Intamin hyper coaster, but the thing is, we don't know what it's going to be themed to, and I think that's the toughest part about what exactly this roller coaster is going to entail. But if I'm being honest, I feel like it's going to be a Minions roller coaster. And I know a lot of people will not like that, but I feel like with the like theming of Minions Land right around Rip Ride Rocket, it'll like most likely lean towards that. I mean, it could be even like Fast and Furious, and maybe even like bring Back to the Future too. But I feel like they're going to lean towards Minions.
That'll be interesting. I mean, they could pull it off with the silly Funland or whatever in the movie.
That's what I was thinking.
They could tie it to that. So, I haven't heard that thought yet, but that's a good thought. Maybe, or something tied to Illumination since it's up front. But fingers crossed we see another property other than Minions. I love the Minions, but I think it's a little overkill for what's in that area.
I know. And the reason why for like Fast and the Furious is because of like what they're doing in Hollywood right now. And I feel like if they build a Fast and the Furious roller coaster, then they're definitely going to get rid of that dark ride.
I hope so.
I don't know if you rode that whenever you're here, but it's an experience.
So on the Saturday night of Rock the Universe was the first time I went in Fast and the Furious. I don't know if I want to say it was an experience. It was something. So literally, we get in line. I love how the people in the queue are just ripping the ride and just making fun of it.
Yes.
That's the best part is those actors. But once you get in there, it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on? The ride is terrible. It makes no sense at all. You fall into this hole, and then it's like, congratulations, you did it. It's like, what? Congratulations, I died? I don't know.
It's like, what did you do?
Like, exactly. And of course, Universal had to throw in their water somehow. That's the one thing I don't get about Universal. Every ride has to have water somewhere. It's like, I don't get it. But Fast and the Furious, oh my goodness. You got rid of Beetlejuice, you got rid of Earthquake for that?
Yeah.
Come on.
I agree.
Anyways, we're going to move Fast and the Furious away from that. So, let's talk about your content in your channel. What led you to starting your YouTube channel and even like your social media? And what are some of the plans you have for the future with that as well?
I think the reason for me starting it is because I wanted to like document my journey of how I'm learning more about roller coasters and how I can like inform other people about roller coasters and like even like my opinions on what I think, even if they suck. But yeah, it's just like another reason I started it is to like connect with like other roller coaster enthusiasts. And I feel like that's probably one of the best things about it is that like starting this account, you get to like connect with other coaster enthusiasts and learn more about their opinions and like what roller coasters they've ridden and all the things that they've done so they can help you in your roller coaster journey. And overall, just like making the content is really fun. It's not a burden to me. It's more or less I'm just like learning more about like what each roller coaster model is. And if I get something wrong, someone in the coaster community can like very nicely tell me that I got something wrong and I can like thank them with all my heart just so I don't like get like heat for it. But everyone is like super nice in the community. Content is really fun to make. And it's like I very much encourage people to make it, even if it's not for the likes or the clicks. It's just because you love doing it and you just have a passion for it.
Absolutely, I agree 100% there. And I'm the same with the content I create. I almost do videos as like a home video that I want to share with everybody else. And like you said, showing your coaster journey, showing your growth and knowledge of it is really cool. And who cares what people think about opinions? It's like it's what you think, and it's unique to you. And again, it opens discussion too. And that's the thing I like about the coaster community is the interaction too. Sometimes it may not be the nicest way, but other than that, you get to build some really cool friendships within the community, and even meet some really cool Christians too along the way, and people of like interests and faiths. So that's the thing I love about it, and just. I enjoy your content as well, and like I said, I learned so much from the Rock the Universe video. That helped with planning for that. It's like there's no content about that or about Rock the Universe out there, so that was neat to come across that video.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And where would you like to see your channel going forward?
I know I'm coming up with like a different couple types of content. Right now I'm working on a series about like the rise and fall of certain manufacturers and coasters. Just like a sneak peek, I'm working on one about strata coasters, the rise and fall.
Nice.
And just coming up with like more ideas of where I am and like what I'm passionate about. I think it's where I'll find myself whenever making content. I'm also looking towards to like including challenges whenever going to parks. So I kind of want to like make like a little challenges list. Like for example, like marathonic roller coaster 5 times in a row, or when you're on one of the water rides, or like when someone else is on one of the water rides, shoot someone with a like water gun from the outside. So it's just more or less just expanding and seeing what I have planned beyond the horizon, and coming up with ideas as the days go and as I just think more about them.
Oh, cool. And I love those like history videos and those backstory videos almost of coaster manufacturers and coaster types and things like that. So I'm excited to see those videos come out, and then those challenges. I'm sure those are going to be fun too, just doing and just documenting for yourself and others to watch too. So that's cool. And not only are you a video creator, but you do some photography as well. And Ryan has talked about some of your photography and things like that. Where have you really got your started with that?
I mostly do photography for my church. I do want to like come out one day and like just do photography at like Busch Gardens or SeaWorld or Universal. But for now, I usually do photography for events and for businesses and for church on Sunday mornings. And photography is just like, it's amazing because you're just capturing a moment. And I think one of like my most favorite moments to capture is like a youth or a child or an adult getting baptized. And people love those types of pictures too. And it's just like, it's so meaningful. But photography is really fun. And it just like, it does bring the best out of like what is seen in that moment, and people can just like share it, and it's really fun.
Awesome. So you did mention, and even now mention, that you're very involved with your church. What are some areas you get to serve in at your church?
Working in communications, I pretty much just serve everywhere because I help around everywhere, and I'm just like, I'm involved in every ministry. So I'm weirdly involved with the men's ministry sometimes, just like taking pictures of content and working with them. And then with the women's ministry, whenever they do their like meetups, I help out at the children's events. I volunteer for our youth. I'm everywhere Sunday morning. I help out with the tech booth. I take pictures at our cafe, with our greeters, at our welcome station. I'm everywhere. I'm very versatile whenever it comes to working for my church.
Awesome. And what's your favorite part of the media ministry? Is it the video, the cameras, or doing the screens? What's your favorite element of media?
That's a good question, because I love all of it, but I think I've really grown to love like video editing and like cinematography. And we recently did like a 5-part series during Advent about like going back to the past and like interviewing some of like the prophets and like Mary and Zachariah, and like seeing baby Jesus. And it was a hassle to do because it was like all last minute, and I was doing all the filming and the editing, but it was like telling the story and working with like our drama ministry to do that was like, it was really amazing, and it really left an impact on a lot of our congregants, and they loved them so much. And it's like, you could tell it was so appreciated by everyone, just like telling the story of Isaiah and Micah, as we tell the story of like the true meaning of Christmas.
That is super cool. I gotta check that out. Is it online? I gotta check this out.
I'll send you a link.
Oh, cool. I'm excited to see that. What are some of the challenges that you see when you do the editing and even photography? What are some of the challenges, and how do you overcome those?
I guess like some of the challenges is not knowing how to do something. Like, for example, I think this is like my very first year I had to work with like a transparent background and a green screen. So it was a challenge to overcome. It is more or less just like being persistent and not knowing how to give up and like having patience to learn how to do the skill and just like making sure you're consistent as like you edit and all that jazz, because editing and photography, they take like so much patience out of you, and it can be really stressful, but in the end it's really rewarding for the people who do love and appreciate what you do.
That's awesome. And yeah, that's true for any kind of medium too. It's just the almost hurdle is, oh no, how do I do this? But growing and learning from that's very rewarding, and just, it helps you even figure something out that you didn't even think about in the first place. Like, okay, I could do this too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree 100%. It's very rewarding at the end to see the end product, and like you mentioned before, the impact that it can make on somebody. Even with the Advent series, like you said, just seeing that touch somebody's life is amazing. And with that, and just your service and just your time with the Lord in general, what are some things the Lord's been teaching you in your life lately?
I think he's telling me that life isn't short. That's one thing for sure. Life isn't short. And just starting the coaster content as well, and with like everyone around me and like all like the people that are just like old and dying, or just like dying in general. A lot of them like tell me that life isn't short. So if you like have something or like have a passion that you want to do, just do it, because like you might not have tomorrow. But I think God is telling me to not just like, what's the word? Like sit down and just like do nothing, but just to do something and try to make an impact in this world by using like the talents and the gifts that he has given us, and try to let more people know about Jesus through our words and through our actions and through how we interact with people. So I think it's really important as Christians that we imitate Jesus through us to other people, to show more people about Jesus and like plant seeds and eventually get them to know more and have them learn more about Jesus.
That's good. Good thought there. And life is short, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so we need to make the best of our life today. First and foremost, knowing who Jesus is and having a personal relationship with him, growing in his word daily, talking to him through prayer, and seeking him above all else, and to be a light to those around us. And like you said, as Christians, now more than ever, we need to be that light to those around us. And no matter where we're at, no matter it's at a park, at work, school, church, wherever it is, we need to be a light to those around us. And what has been some of the best advice you've received as a Christian, and just living a life that's moving towards the Lord, so to speak?
I think the best advice as a Christian is, honestly, this is like our church's motto too, is just to go make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey every command that God or that Jesus has given us. And I feel like that advice is just, it's not only for, like interacting with people in person, but it's also for online and on social media. And I think like as working in communications, that's one of the most rewarding things I could do is go make disciples and tell people about Jesus worldwide, because that's what social media does. You can interact with people like all over the world, and how you act online can make a huge difference maybe in someone's life that you might not even know or you might not have ever met. And I think just showing people about Jesus, maybe even sharing a Bible verse, like get people curious about telling people about Jesus can like plant a seed and spark someone's curiosity about who Jesus is, what his ministry was, and maybe even like get them involved in studying the Bible. So I think telling people about Jesus, going to make disciples literally everywhere is probably some of the best advice that I've been given.
That's good advice too. And that's, like you said, it's what Jesus commanded us to do before he went back to heaven, is to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every living creature. And that's exactly what we need to do. Spot on. And what are some of the ways you've been able to share the gospel through social media, and just some of those friendships and things you've made through the community?
I know I love Silver Dollar City, and and I usually share a lot of their Bible verses whenever they pop up on social media. But it's not just like the surface level type of like posting Bible verses, but you get into like conversations with other coaster enthusiasts about Jesus, and it's really nice knowing that you're not alone in the community, because we live in a crazy world. And it's great that you can not only have the commonality of loving roller coasters, but if maybe you're like down in the dust and like you're having a bad day and you're just like talking to one of your coaster friends, and knowing that they know Jesus, they can help you in such a great way and help pick you up and make sure that you're doing okay, and like give a Bible verse. And yeah, it's just like really nice. And especially it's like really nice sharing music too, because I know a lot of people that just like they listen to some of the same music I do, like Skillet or like Consumed by Fire. So yeah, it's nice to know that you're not alone.
Absolutely. And it's like, as the Bible says, iron sharpens iron, and just building those relationships. And social media has many pluses and negatives, but the cool thing about social media is getting to meet all these awesome people you would have never met if it wasn't for that, and to just meet people again of like faith and like passions and interests. So that's pretty neat. And I love, like you said, what Silver Dollar City, Dollywood, all of them do in the Hershon brand by putting out a verse every Sunday, just a little bit of encouragement. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and it shows that like the parks like do welcome Christians, and it's not just like, it's not all satanic stuff here in this world. And it's really nice to know that the parks have those types of morals and values as well, and it makes me want to give my money more to them and like support them more.
I agree 100%. And it's just neat what that chain is doing. Hershon's just, they're a light in the community, and even Answers in Genesis with things they're doing there. It's so neat. And we've plugged this before, but the Spark Conference coming to the Ark Encounter, just knowing that there's people in the industry who love the Lord and are also wanting to entertain people, almost, for lack of better words, but using their talents and gifts God has given them to ultimately push people back to Him. So it's awesome, and I'm thankful for that. What is a verse that you would coin as your life verse, or a verse that means something special to you, and why is it that verse?
I would say the story of the parable of Jesus talking about the sheep and the sheep herder and going back to the 99, like in Luke. And the story kind of just goes that a sheep herder would go back for his one sheep that strayed away and leave the 99 behind to get that one sheep. And he would celebrate for that one sheep, even though it was only just one sheep. And I feel like as we tell people about Jesus, even if it's just one person, we should be celebrating because that's one person saved and one person that we'll see again in heaven. And working in ministry and telling people about Jesus, it's so rewarding to know that I'll see that person again soon when I die. And it's really good to know that even if it's just one person, the angels and Jesus celebrate just knowing Jesus and having their salvation saved through him and having their life changed because of him.
Absolutely, and that's a good parable too. Just the fact that God himself would come in the form of a man to save us through one sheep. And I'm so thankful for that, and just what that means to us as believers. We shouldn't take it for granted that our God did that for us, but it should be something that honestly humbles us and makes us thankful for what we have, and once again to tell others about him and know that they can be rescued and have that personal relationship with him before it's truly too late. So that's good. And as we bring this interview to a close, which it's been so much fun talking with you and getting to know you, what are some thoughts or some takeaways or advice you would like to leave with listeners today?
I would say be persistent with what you're passionate about, because like I said earlier in the interview, there's no guarantee for tomorrow. And probably the most important thing is, if you're struggling with your relationship with Jesus, just pray over it. And I hope that whatever struggles that you have, they're answered, and that you accept Jesus into your heart, because he is the one and true salvation, joy, hope, love, peace that you could ever want in your life, even if everything is gone in the end. Jesus is probably the most important thing in my life. As much as I love roller coasters, Jesus is the truth in my life. And without Jesus, I couldn't be as happy as I am, or even when I'm sad, I couldn't be as thankful as I am when I am sad. So I would just say the most important thing is build your relationship with Jesus, study the Bible, accept him into your heart, and make the most out of your life here, whether it be through roller coasters or telling people about Jesus.
Man, I agree 100%. Make sure you know that you can have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's the most important thing in your life. That's the number one most important decision you will ever make. And it's not what school you go to, not what job you have. It's what are you doing with Jesus, and do you know him as your Savior? Because in the light of eternity, one day things will perish, but Jesus Christ will remain the same. So that's good advice for listeners, and a good challenge this week to seek the Lord above all else and make him known. So awesome. And one question I have that I ask all of our guests is, what is one song that means the most to you that you would like to highlight? So each Saturday we like to highlight a song and add it to a playlist of just songs that mean something to us. What's one you would like to highlight, and
Let me see.
why is it one you want to highlight?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I love songs. Now I'm going to check my Spotify. to see what I've been listening to lately.
If you have a few, that's fine too. I'm a music lover too, so it's hard to pinpoint just one song that I'm like, I like this one, I like that one. But
so after seeing "Consumed by Fire," "What If" is a really good song because it's kind of like what we were talking about today. Like if you're questioning your life and like what Jesus has planned for you, just pray to him, and like what if it never happens? But I think if you have like the faith and trust in Jesus that you have, like he will make it happen. So "What If" by Consumed by Fire is a really good one.
All right, Consumed by Fire, "What If" will be the song we highlight this week, and I'm going to go ahead and save that to our playlist right now. So that's a good one. And like I said, I love Consumed by Fire, and just the music they put out is so good, and the words and lyrics are very meaningful. And that's the thing about some artists, they just throw words in to throw words in, but I love it when artists mean it. And I know we mentioned Matthew West, and some of his songs are just stories and just where he's been in his life, and I'm thankful for that. And just the power of music is just phenomenal. And I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it out there too. What are some other songs you just love that are like you like to put on repeat?
I love "Third Day." "Third Day, May Your Wonders Never Cease." I love "Third Day" so much, and I wish they didn't like dismantle as a band. But let's see, the hymn "Baptized in Water" is really fun too to listen to. Another hymn, "Christ Be Our Light." I love Danny Gokey too, so his like new album, "Sound of Heaven," is really like fun to listen to as well. Like so impactful. And even Demon Hunter. So I've been like really hardcore metal type of rock music. Dead Flowers, I Am Stone really hits hard sometimes.
Nice. Yeah, wide range of music there, and I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
I love "Third Day" too, and I love what Mac Powell is putting out now too. Some of his newer stuff is really good, and that's just another one of those guys that's just genuine in what he speaks through song and just in general. He's a good artist, so awesome. Well, Grace, how can folks get connected with you, and what are some things you want to plug?
So you can get connected with me on Instagram, X, and YouTube by searching Grace Adventures. I'm not on TikTok right now because of the ban or whatever is happening with that. But if TikTok comes back, I will also be on TikTok. And feel free to message me. My DMs are always open, and I would love to talk, whether it be roller coasters or Jesus with you. So feel free. And I'm excited to chit chat with you.
Awesome. And we'll leave all of her links in the show notes below. But Grace, it's been so much fun talking with you, and we're excited for what God's got in store for you. And everybody go ahead and check out Grace Adventures over on YouTube. You won't regret it. So thanks again, Grace.
Hey, thank you, Donnie.